clap. It's called The Spirit of God is Upon Us. Here we go. And the part you'll sing goes like this. Oh, oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. And then I'll bring you in. Here we go. I used to think that I had to. I used to think that I should. The scripture told me that I had to be good. And now I love because I want to. I love because I am free. I'm blinded by the Spirit, oh Lord. The Spirit of God is upon me. Here we go. The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Do that again. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Told me that I had to be good, but now I love because I want to. I love because I am free. I'm blinded by my God. The Spirit of God is upon me. Here we go. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is 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 upon me. When the Spirit of God is upon you, what do you do? How do you feel? You get happy? Love?
I feel tingly.
Tingly?
Very present.
Present, very present. Large.
I feel high.
High. And you sometimes cry.
I love everyone else.
Love everyone else. And yourself. Yes.
I feel grateful.
Feel grateful. And sometimes you dance.
Oh, yes.
Last Sunday when we were at Jackson Wellsprings, the Spirit of God came upon her and she danced and let us all out into dancing. It was great. Some people write poetry, some people write songs. What do you do when the Spirit of God is upon you? Have you been blessed to be in holy services, like Kathy Mary just came back from being with Amma, in which you really feel the Spirit of God upon you? Well, that's what we pray for every week at Unity here, that you really feel the Spirit of God upon you, talking with you, comforting you, meeting your needs. John O'Donohue, one of my favorite poets, I think he feels the Spirit of God upon him when he writes these poems. For our invocation this morning, an excerpt from his poem called A Morning Offering. All that is eternal in me, welcome the wonder of this day. The field of brightness it creates, offering time for each thing to arise and illuminate. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shell of yesterdays, to risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last that which I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. May I do at last that which I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. Can you say amen to that? Amen. Well, I'd like to bless our children now. Just when I take a step outside, the rain catches me with no warning. Right before I lift off what was once light and airy, can't catch my breath, pour sweet canary for the weight on my body. Oh, break me, take me, collide inside, bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know better need. And this time I will lift off and
We all took a deep breath at the end of that, and let the sounds of our breath bring us present here for meditation. All the sounds that you hear of the music, the words that are spoken, let them bring you present here. As you hear the sounds of my words right now and the beautiful piano music, become acutely aware of your own presence here. Breathing. Focus on your breathing. Each time you inhale, feel your energy. Each time you exhale, settle. Let yourself relax. Inhaling and exhaling, settling into yourself, witnessing yourself, fully present with your inner being. Inhaling, exhaling. That's all you have to do right now. Just listen to the sound of your own breath and the breath of those around us, knowing that we're one in this breathing, in this spirit. Let yourself reside right now in the quiet of your own being. What a gift it is to have this time out of time. Feel your energy simply residing in the presence of this quietness. Breathing. Letting the clutter and chaos of the day dissipate. Breathe in the calm. And as it washes through you, replenishes you, renews you, reminds you of yourself, let yourself deeply reside in peaceful energy. Peaceful, floating kind of energy. And in this spacious awareness, you can soar. Soar through your world inside of you like a bird. Like the song was saying, lift off. Soar into the sky of your innermost being, held by the breezes, high in the sky, floating through the air, supported by the air, and sense how your own consciousness moves like the bird that glides through the air, just relaxed, carried by the breezes. You can see your whole life clearly from this perspective as you look down over the landscape of your inner dimensions. Feel yourself able to fly high through the great expanse of awareness itself, however you imagine it. Feel the sky expanding out before you, above you, below you, and realize that you're looking down on all of your life. And here, from this perspective, nothing really impedes your transformation. You shape it. Acknowledge that regenerative powers of life are available to you. That life lifts you. That life naturally heals itself and balances itself and reproduces itself and recreates itself. Life is intrinsically creative and resilient. So feel this creative power, this life energy in you right now, carrying you to where wisdom is born. In this moment, you can receive exactly what you need to transmute energies. For the power of receptivity resides here. Lessons are offered and energy is released. Life naturally moves into balance here. So for just another moment, feel life energy moving you into balance. No limitations of time, space here. Trust it. You are renewed. Transformation is taking place. With faith and clear intent, anything is possible. Now with another long, slow, deep breath, bring yourself back into the presence of others in this room and know that you are better for having lifted off and taken this flight into your imagination, and that you are better for being here now. I'd like you to turn to the person next to you and just share. And this morning, we have some holy words for you too. Hopefully all of the words are whole-making and holy, but we have some scripture words that come from the Judeo-Christian tradition. And I've asked Karen to come and read these words for us. They're from one of my favorite passages in John chapter 5. Karen.
Hi, everybody. Soon another feast came around, and Jesus went back to Jerusalem. Near the sheep gate in Jerusalem, there was a pool with 5 alcoves. Hundreds of sick people, blind, crippled, paralyzed, were in these alcoves. One man had been an invalid there for 38 years. When Jesus saw him stretched out by the pool and knew how long he had been there, he said, "Do you want to get well?" The sick man said, "Sir, when the water is stirred, I don't have anybody to put me in the pool. By the time I get there, somebody else is already in." Jesus said, "Get up, take your bedroll, start walking." The man was healed on the spot. He picked up his bedroll and walked off. That day happened to be the Sabbath. The Pharisees stopped the healed man and said, "It's the Sabbath. You can't carry your bedroll around. It's against the law." But he said, "The man who made me well told me to. He said, 'Take your bedroll and start walking.'" Later, Jesus found him in the temple and said, "You look wonderful. You're well. Don't return to a doubting mindset, or something worse might happen." The man later was questioned again and told the Pharisees that it was Jesus who had made him well. That is why they were out to get him, because he did this kind of thing on the Sabbath. Jesus defended himself. "My Father is working straight through, even on the Sabbath, so am I." That really set them off. The Pharisees were now not only out to expose him, they were out to kill him. Not only was he breaking the Sabbath, but he was calling God his own Father. This meant he was putting himself on a level with God. How dare he?
Just a brief intro to Laura's next song here. Sometimes when the Spirit of God comes upon you, you just have to do these things, even if it breaks the laws of the Sabbath. Has the Spirit of God ever come upon you and caused you to do something that maybe was against the rules, or that others didn't like, or that you stepped out of your family of origin's views of you, or something, you know? When the Spirit of God comes upon you, it reveals what the right thing to do is. The Spirit of God is still revealing today. Don't you think so? How many of you think the Spirit of God is still revealing today? Changing things around, changing the rules, making things possible that we haven't even yet imagined are possible. The Spirit of God might just come upon you and reveal something to you that you just have to do.
I was looking to the sky, hoping maybe someone would listen. Give me a design, what to do with my existence. Looking for an answer, but maybe when the questions start to disappear, it's all right here to be revealed. My hopes and dreams surround me, and love is all around me. It will be revealed. Ain't it funny how I can see it now? Love is all around me. Love is all around me. Yeah. Love is all around me. Yeah. Well, I cannot all around me. Love is all around me. Yeah. Love through me. Love as me. Love to me. To be revealed. Revealed to me. Revealed. My hopes and dreams surround me, and love is all around me. It will be revealed, oh, revealed. Ain't it funny how I can see it now? To be revealed, my God, it's all around me, all around me. Love is all around me. It will surely be revealed to me now. Ain't it funny how I can see it now? Love is all around me. Love is all around me. To be revealed. Love is all around you. Do not doubt your worth. You are very, very precious to the Divine One, to the beloved friend. Every hair on your head is counted. Nothing that happens to you is unknown. Every care, every need, every woe, every place you've been. Spirit knows you're down sitting and you're uprising. And love is all around you. Love is calling you even now. It's never too late. 38 years that man sat by the pool of Bethesda. 38 years. Maybe he was in his 50s by then, you know. And he thought it was going to happen in one way. All those years he thought he was going to sit by that pool and walk into those waters and he would be healed. It gave him a lot of hope, but as the years went on, he probably didn't try so hard anymore. He just went and sat there, but he still sat and intended to be healed. And he paid attention to the waters. But one day, something happened. Somebody came along who was unexpected, and he opened himself to the unexpected. Do you do that? Do you allow yourself to open to the unexpected and be changed completely? And who knows what can happen through us when we allow the unexpected to touch us and change us and move us in a whole new way. Well, there was an Islamic man who had been faithful in his tradition and seeking to be touched by God and praying, and one day somebody came along for him too. It was Shams of Tabriz, and surprised him and touched him in a whole new way and changed everything. And I've asked Heather to come and read an excerpt from a poem that Rumi wrote when he was touched. The Spirit of God came upon him.
Exuberant is existence, time a husk. When the moment cracks open, ecstasy leaps out and devours space. Love goes mad with the blessings, like my words give. Why lay yourself on the torturer's rack of the past and the future? The mind that tries to shape tomorrow beyond its capacities will find no rest. Be kind to yourself, dear, to our innocent follies. Forget any sounds or touch you knew that did not help you dance. You will come to see that all evolves us.
in this next song, The Essence of You. It's quite amazing because it's telling us that we don't have to look outside even for the touch of Spirit. That we just need to go into the silence sometimes and not be afraid to go into the silence, not be afraid to retreat from our busyness or from those things that we've been used to doing, but to settle in and to feel what's deeply within there. That's where we meet the beloved friend.
In your voice, there is a silence. It speaks louder than lies. If you close your eyes and feel the oneness of I am that you bury deep beneath your pride. It's not an angel, it's not a ghost, it's not a remedy when you need it most. It is a love that knows the truth. It's the essence of you. Do you know that you are the knower? Changes only thought away. But do you believe it's all just hocus pocus? No, simple trick you pull out of your sleeve. No, 'cause it's not an angel, it's not a ghost, it's not a remedy when you need it most. It is a freedom you can choose. If you only knew, it is eternal, it is divine, living proof of God's design. No need to find a hidden clue. It's the essence of you. So let the hurting be gone, and heal the burden. Move on, move on, move on. Move on. He's not an angel, it's not a ghost, it's not a remedy when you need it most. It is a freedom you can choose. Oh, if you only knew, it is eternal, it is divine, living proof of God's design. And it is love that knows the truth. It's the essence of you. It's the essence of you. It's not an angel. Oh, it's not a ghost. It's not a remedy when you need it most. It's the essence
Much for letting the Spirit of God come upon you and write those songs and move us with those lyrics. The title of my talk today is Continuous Realignment. When the Spirit of the Lord, Spirit of God, Spirit of love comes upon us, we're being brought into a continuous realignment. How many of you have gone to the chiropractor just once? Just once. Usually you have to go back a few times, right? You get an adjustment and it gets you aligned, and then things happen. Stress comes and you have to get aligned again. I've noticed that so many of us have a tendency to get upset with ourselves when we get out of alignment, for being a little bit off. We set these goals for ourselves that are impossible, really, that we always have to be on, that we always have to be right on and perfect, and then we get upset with ourselves when we're not. Can anybody relate to that? But this isn't really the way the universe works. You've heard the saying, everything I need to know I learned in kindergarten. I think a better saying is, everything we need to know we can find out from nature. How does nature work? It's not that everything in nature is always on point, but it's always self-correcting. When there's an imbalance, nature does things to bring it back into balance, right? When there's some sort of interference, when there's something that creates an imbalance, nature has its ways of bringing things back into balance, inside of our own bodies even. It's not that we're always on and perfect and never falter and never say the wrong things or always feel positive. It's not that we want, really, but it's living more of a nature life like this, an Aikido kind of life, if you will, where you are with the flow more. So sometimes you get off and get a little stuck, and then you readjust. So the question is not if we get off or not, okay? But the question is, how is our capacity and our willingness to be off decreasing? Okay? How is our capacity and our willingness to be off decreasing? It's not that I get off, but do I notice it quicker, in other words? Is my tolerance for being off getting shorter and shorter? I don't mean an impatience with ourselves, but a vision that sees it can be something other than what we just did. For example, if you snap at your partner or say something mean to your child, It's a willingness to say I'm sorry sooner, to correct it sooner. That's where the peace and joy comes in, when you catch that you're off more quickly. And then what do you do in that moment when you catch it? Do you make a big deal about it inside of yourself? So you said something mean or careless, or someone else says some mean words to you. What did it take? Maybe 5 seconds for that to happen? But then you spend the next 2 hours bemoaning it inside of yourself or complaining about it. And 2 days later, you talk to a friend and we might still be hearing about it. And then 2 months, and then 20 years later maybe. How many times have we replayed those 5 seconds? We can choose instead to intend to get the gift from our mistakes, right? An example, there's a story I heard of a guy who said that he first read the Science of Mind book in jail. And I was curious, how did that happen? Well, he said he had to spend 30 days in jail because he had DUIs that had mounted up. But by the time the jail sentence came around, he had long gotten sober. So jail wasn't about making him stop drinking. So he said, but still, these 30 days had my name on it. So he was going to assume responsibility to get something out of these 30 days. So the consequences here, there's no way out of the 30 days. And so he wasn't going to beat himself up while he was in there and not bemoan the fact that he got those DUIs and he was in there, but instead he took the book, the one book to jail that would really help him, the Science of Mind textbook, and he read it cover to cover in jail. Well, sometimes we can get frustrated with the jail system, and we think about the lockdown and how people can get in lockdown that don't even deserve it sometimes, and they can be in there for way too long. But when I was doing prison ministry in my graduate school days, some of the guys told me that being in lockdown was a big relief sometimes, because they could go into their own quietude and they didn't have to be with all the crazies out in the yard. And in that contemplative state, they could realign. So even in jail, in the most stuck situation, it can be used for the good. So surely we can look at the situations in our lives in which we feel trapped and that things are holding us down, and we can just look at it like somebody in jail would have to, that the state or the state of being is giving you some time. Serve some time to do something different inside of yourself. So there's chronos time, which is like just the linear marking of time, and then there's kairos time. Kairos time is holy time. I think maybe when Jesus walked up to that lame man in the story, kairos time took place right then. Holy time. Time out of time. When something very unusual can happen. So we can have those opportunities when we go within ourselves to readjust ourselves and intend to learn from whatever has happened and then be open. When I teach the journey to completion, I talk about this. This is the method that I teach of going down into the underworld, into the dream time, into ourselves, into our own unconscious. And there, in non-ordinary time, anything is possible. And things can get rearranged, and we can intend for a healing to take place, and it does. Because there is all potentiality in the universe, and we so often don't allow it. We focus elsewhere instead of focusing on the change that's possible. Like, for example, think about an Olympian in the gymnastics Olympics. We see these incredible young women walking on the balance beam, and we know how hard that is, but think back in their lives to when they first started. They were probably falling off the balance beam 99% of the time, and then they'd have maybe 3 seconds on it when they were balanced, and then they would fall off. And so maybe the next week they'd have 5 minutes on it when they were balanced, and still keep falling off a lot, and then the next week maybe 10 minutes on it. So you know what I mean? That's how it is in our lives. What are we going to focus on to really get somewhere? Are we going to focus on all the times that we fall off, or those few seconds when we're on, and then on again? Well, Carolyn told me this past week that she's been studying the passion test. Have you heard about the passion test? It's a way to get in touch with what your passions are and then manifest them. And in the passion test, she was taught that there are 3 important things: that we have to intend what we want to accomplish, and so you get in touch with what your passions are, and then you intend them. And then you have to pay attention. And then the third thing is, that's really the secret of it all, they say, and that is letting go into divine potentiality. So that's what we're talking about here. What are you intending right now in your life? And what are you paying attention to? And then what are you being required to let go of? When we let go of everything that we've thought had to happen a certain way, incredible miracles can take place. Pick up your bed and walk. Well, for the 38 years previous to that guy wasn't able to do that. So what made that moment different? What made that moment an opening moment? Somehow he heard it differently. He heard, he saw, he felt, he was open to a holy word. In Hebrew, the holy word is called the dabar, and it means the creative emanation from spirit. And it's said that the dabar has created all of the universes. The dabar is also called the word. So when we think of words, we think of our human words, right? But think of all of the words, supposedly, dabars that have been spoken to create the universes. So there's many, many things outside of our even ability to conceptualize it and put it into words that can come to us when the Spirit is upon us and move through us. Do you get the inkling of what I'm talking about here? There are amazing powers that can come to us that we don't even have any idea of how to frame them sometimes. So what do we have to let go of? I think sometimes we have to let go of our doubts and our fears. We have to reframe things sometimes. We have to ask different questions. Lots of times we're asking the question, why me? But what about the question, why not? Remember Robert Kennedy, who said, some people see things the way they are and ask why, but others see things the way they never have been and ask why not? Michael Beckwith, who founded Agape. He said, pain pushes until vision pulls. Pain pushes until vision pulls. So when you ask why or why me, you're still in pain. The vision, our visions are what pull us into the why not. It's never too late. We're never too old to ask, why not? Why not? You can't ask the why, not until you shift the framing of things. Like remember Edison, you know the story about his long journey of trial and error and trying to create the light bulb? His attitude was that after he'd done 1,000 experiments in which things did not work, he said, oh well, I don't have to try that again. So how many times have you tried certain things? How many years have you done it a certain way, you know? Well, we can look at what happened in times that we got off, times that we fell off the balance beam, or all the experiments we've done that haven't worked, and we can bless them. And like Edison did, get the gift from them and say, okay, well, I know I don't have to do it that way, and then go on. Because there's a lesson in everything that happens that doesn't work. As long as you're still in the why, though, you let the status quo mindset take over and it blocks your creative imagining. That's why it's so important to forgive. Why is it that we get sort of a shiver that runs up our spine or kind of a revulsion sometimes when we hear the word forgive? Have we heard it too much? It doesn't mean some of the things that we end up thinking that forgiveness means. It doesn't mean that we're not going to grow, that we're forgetting something, that we're forgiving something too easily, that we're letting a person off the hook, or that we're letting ourselves off the hook. You know, sometimes when I'm trying to lose weight or something, I look in the mirror and I'm really hard on myself. And I'm not really loving myself in that moment. I'm saying something like, why me? Like, why does this have to be the way I look? And I'm holding myself in a certain frame of mind. But there's a possibility consciousness that asks, why not? You are not what has happened, even in the previous minute. No matter what has happened, our raw potential is still here. Nothing that anybody has ever done that is so big that it can stop love. Nothing that you have ever done is so big that it can stop love from doing something miraculous in your life. You just have to switch from asking why me to why not. We put ourselves in our own prisons. We put ourselves down. We put others in our prisons. And then we ask them to dwell there for our whole lives. We hold such stuck patterns in place. And at some point we need to ask ourselves the question, why not? The universe is in continuous realignment. Jesus said, whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. What you bind in heaven is bound on earth. So we have a lot of power of what movements are going to take place, what realignments are going to come into being. Ernest Holmes says, we're not punished for our mistakes. Do you know who Ernest Holmes is? Right? The founder of Science of Mind. I like this. He says, we're not punished for our mistakes. We're punished by them. We're not punished for our mistakes. We're punished by them because we are so hard on ourselves. He says there's no judge up there in the sky keeping a ledger of what you have done wrong and right, no matter what old religions have taught you. But there is such a thing that Buddhism taught me of cause-effect, of consequence. So for every action there is a reaction, a consequence. Con in Latin is with, sequence. Consequence. So there is a consequence that comes with our actions. That's just the way it is. But we get to determine what we make out of that. Not how bad I am or how much we get to beat ourselves up for it, but how can I turn this around? Forgiveness actually means turning around. In the Greek it's metanoia. It's like a 180-degree turn or a shift in perspective. That's what forgiveness is. So the why not is going to require some forgiveness. Why not requires us to get off of the blame and shame game. The paradox of it all is that the answer is in the problem. So when the correction comes, the realignment comes, it's going to involve some of the people, places, and things that you have identified as the problem in your life, in the world. For example, corporations. Let's just take corporations like Monsanto. We get them in our minds as doing something really bad. Well, they did get us into some of this mess, but guess who's going to get us out of it too? Corporations. I just got word from a consultant friend of mine that's working with a big giant corporation. It's one of the top 10 in the world. And she said that their top management have decided that they need to realign their culture within their organization to the feminine. And they're looking for women leaders to come in and teach all of their employees how to realign to feminine principles. So we shouldn't hold anybody in a stuck position. You never know how these changes are going to come. Black people say that Christianity got us into slavery, and then there was another kind of Christianity that helped to get us out. So even religious institutions can change drastically. Readjustment is always happening. It's just blame and shame that binds us. So is there a willingness in your heart to embrace those parts of you that you condemn? Or parts of society that you condemn? Or even certain people that have hurt you? Is there a willingness to hold them in the possibility of all potentiality? Think about it for a minute. Just think of somebody or some organization or something that you've held in a certain position. And are you willing to hold them in the possibility of all potentiality? Because if we really believe in this oneness thing, then it can't be just for us, the unity people, we're all one, or just for us vegans, or just for us sober ones. Forgiveness shifts our relationship to persons, places, and things. Forgiveness stops you from making a god out of the things that have happened to you. We can actually make an idol out of things we don't like, and it becomes, in our minds, riveted there when it's not really that static in reality. Martin Luther King in the Civil Rights Movement said, I don't want to kill white people. I want to live next door to you. Think about those people, places, and things that you've held as oppressors or victims in your mind. Do you really want to find reconciliation, or do you want to kill them? How about your ex? Or that employer that fired you, or that other political party? Or those religious folk that think that you're wrong and that they're right, and then everybody gets in the wrong game? Well, you can. And we just have to, want to. We really have to want to ask why not and see the change. If we can't stop the wars in our own families and amongst our own friends, how can we expect countries that have been in war for centuries to shift? If we can't clean up some of the toxicity in our own bodily systems, how can we expect that the whole world can clean up its toxic systems? You know? Come on now, this is good news. This isn't bad news. This is good news. Because change does start right here. And right here amongst small groups of people, like Margaret Mead said, that's the only way it ever can really happen, right? From small groups of people that really take on this kind of attitude. So do you really want wholeness in your life? Do you really want the world to get on purpose? Can I hear a yes? Yes. Will it begin with you?
Yes.
So we just have to ask ourselves, instead of why me, why not? And I want to conclude my inspirational message with some spoken word. You know what spoken word is? Now, I'm speaking a lot of words here, but there's a special genre called spoken word. Have any of you ever been to a spoken word contest or a spoken word event? Well, this was written by a black woman named Wilhelmina, and I can't do it in all of the dialect that she would, but I'll try. It's a great spoken word piece that kind of sums up everything I'm trying to say today, and it's called Why or Why Not? So here it goes. Why? Why? Why not me? What is so wrong about me and right about you that no matter what it is that I do, it never turns in the time I have in mind or becomes the kind that meets my plans, so that I can demand the goodness that eludes, intrudes my psychic space and my space, holds my dreams that simply dribble into a thimble, not the bucket that the Luckets always have. Oh, you know the Luckets, the lucky ones. The sun shines more brightly on them, like they got their own genie in a bottle obeying their every command. Well, my genie throttles, dissing my demands. Why? Why? Why not me? Why always the bridesmaid and never the bride? Sidekicked by the hero, no place to go. I'm the treading water below the ones already drowning. Even the victims are ahead of me. Always on the outside, peeking in at the party. Maybe my invitation just got tardy, but it never arrives. I die for the chance to be on the team, being in the dream, but my life is spent sitting on the bench. It's all kind of a wrench. It's just killing my soul. Why? Why? Why not me? If any of this spiritual stuff is true, then I don't have to do anything but show up with my deepest intent, bring my deepest intent to the table, be able to relentlessly revive, thrive on what I know. Don't throw a fit when the facts don't fit, and don't act like the facts are all it. If everything is equally available, why do I even bother to label? Label it as his, hers, theirs, not ours. Impossible, practical, maybe, later. Why do I even bother to label it as good news or bad news, refusing to say it just is? I say, phew, well, I don't want to be wearing no labels, but I'm dishing them out like a name tag, so I know what to call things, rather than piercing through what is true beyond appearances. Why? Why me? Why not me? Why am I always standing the soup line of life instead of assuming my assignment at the banquet table? Instead, I'm telling and retelling and reselling my same old story about how hard it was just to get in the line. But wait a minute, if the line is my own kind, and we're all struggling, then why can't we deconstruct it? My reality redesigned along the spiritual truth, no longer looking for what is not working, but shining through the spiritual sight. Why? So why not me? Made in the image and likeness of the Creator of all things, that sings praises that I was born beyond my sight into the light, always shining on a better way. My birth. Everything in my life is not an accident, but an imprint of a master plan that plans for all of its creation the best that life has to offer. The coffers are always flowing, are overflowing on me. Why? Why? Why not? Because I'm alive. Because I'm standing here in the path of all good things, as all things come together for my good. Why not me? Are my tears not as salty? Are my fears not as faulty? Are my years less valuable because they are mine? Is my laughter less delightful? My knowing less insightful? My love less healing? My heart less revealing? Is there a patent on enoughness? Toughness not linger as an answer, a cancer that spreads within. There is good and plenty for all of God's children, so why not me? A unique, individualized expression of the divine refined by the refiner's fire. My only desire is to be all that God intends me to be. To see through the world through the eyes of unity and equanimity. I am here for a purpose, you see, to let God be God as me. Spoken word's kind of cool, huh? I wish I had the talent to do that all the time, to write something like that. It's really great. Well, now's the time for our offering.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
What's one way that you've held yourself in why me? And then how can you switch that to why not? One little example is that I could today be holding myself in why me? Why didn't I wear more sunscreen when I was a kid? Why didn't I know about sunscreen? Because now I have these spots that I have to have taken off with cryosurgery this week, maybe you can see. And so I could bemoan that fact, why me? But instead I can change it to why not? I've been putting off getting healing for a long time. Why not go for it? Why not go for the healing? What examples can you think of in your life? What have you been holding yourself into a why me? Just think about that for a minute. And how can you switch that to a why not? So when we go into our reception time afterwards in our break, maybe you'd like to share that with somebody. It's a way to get into some deeper sharing, to share your why me and your why not. Okay? Well, let's give Laura one final big thank offering of our hand clapping and praise. So blessed. We're so blessed to have you, Laura. It's great to hear these words to the songs, and this song of hers has been going through my mind all week long, and this will be our closing song. Enjoy it. And then I'll do a benediction at the very end.
Living large in a tiny square, broken pieces seem to lead nowhere. Why do I feel that my life is just pretend? All my dreams staying way too small, they lead me back to where I started from. How can I move when I fear what lies ahead? Well, there's more than what I see. Each step brings me closer to free. Holy
Stand with me for the benediction. Reach out and touch someone.